Food webs and energy flow and decomposers. These are our today's topic. Objectives: define food chain and food webs, differentiate between food chains and food web, describe different levels of energy transfer, and to describe decomposers and their importance. What is a food web? A food web or a food cycle is the natural interconnection of food chains and a graphical representation, usually an image, of what eats what in an ecological community. Another name for food web is consumer resource system. Trophic levels in a food web. Organisms in food webs are grouped into categories called trophic levels or energy levels. These levels are divided into producers, which are the first trophic levels, consumers, the second trophic levels, and decomposers, the last trophic level. Here you can see in the table all of the trophic levels. A food chain. A food chain is a linear network of links in a food web starting from producer's organism, grass or trees, and ending at predators species like lion, tiger, eagle, or killer whales, or decomposer species such as fungi or bacteria. Producers makes up the first trophic level. Producers, also known as autotrophs, make their own food and do not depend on any other organisms for nutrition. Most autotrophs use a process called as photosynthesis to create food, a nutrient called glucose, from the sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water. For example, plants, algae, and phytoplanktons. Plants are the most familiar types of autotrophs. Algae, whose larger forms are known as seaweeds, are autotrophs. Phytoplanktons, like tiny organisms that live in the oceans, are also autotrophs. Cyanobacteria is an example of phytoplanktons. Consumers. The next trophic levels are made up of animals that eat producers. These organisms are called as consumers. Consumers can be herbivores, animals that eat plants; carnivores, animals that eat other animals; omnivores, animals that eat both plants and animals, like us. Humans are omnivores. Detritivores are decomposers. Detritivores and decomposers make up the last part of food chains. Detritivores are organisms that eat non-living plants and animal remains. For example, scavengers such as vultures eat dead animals. Dung beetles eat animal feces. Decomposers like fungi and bacteria complete the food chain. Decomposers turns organic wastes such as decaying plants into inorganic materials such as nutrient-rich soil. They complete the cycle of life, returning nutrients to the soil or ocean for use by autotrophs. Biomass. Biomass is the energy in the living organisms. Like autotrophs, who can photosynthesize and produce their own food, they convert the sun energy into biomass by producing glucose. Biomass decreases with each trophic level, as you can see in the diagram on the right, that in each trophic level the energy is decreasing. Like for example, if the plants produces 1000 kilogram of energy, or they contain 1 kg or 1000 kg of biomass, if these plants are eaten by the herbivores, they get only 100 kg, and then the primary carnivores and then the top carnivores got the least amount of energy. What are decomposers? A decomposer is an organism that decomposes or breaks down organic materials such as the remains of dead organisms. As we discussed earlier, decomposers include bacteria, fungi, and some invertebrates. Invertebrates are organisms who do not have a vertebral column or a backbone. These organisms carry out the process of decomposition, which all living organisms undergo after death. Decomposition is an important process because it allows organic material to be recycled in an ecosystem. Earthworms, invertebrates. An earthworm is a tubular segmented worm of the phylum Annelids in invertebrates. They occur worldwide and are commonly found in soil, eating live and dead organic matter. Earthworms mostly feeds on the dead leaves, decomposing them into soil to make the soil fertile. By their activity in the soil, earthworms offer many benefits like improved drainage, improved nutrients availability, improved soil structure, and improved productivity. Fungi. Fungi are the main decomposers in many environments. Some examples of fungi are yeast, molds, and mushrooms. Fungi have hyphae, which are branching filaments, and these hyphae are able to enter organic matter, making fungi effective decomposers. As you can see in the diagram, the thread-like structures of these fungi are known as hyphae. Fungi have specific enzymes that digest compounds in dead organisms and are the main decomposers in the ecosystem. Importance of decomposition. Decomposition of organic matter like dead plants and animal remains in the soil is an important process in an ecosystem. Decomposers, microorganisms, feeds on the organic matter and break it down into its simplest components, like from those components from which these structures are made. As organic matter is decomposed, water, carbon dioxide, and nutrients are released, meaning that any excess nutrients are released and are available for plants to use to grow. Without decomposition, what will happen? Nutrients consumed by plants and animals would remain locked in their tissues and have no way of returning to the soil after they die, resulting in soil that is low in nutrients and of poor quality for plants' growth. The remains of dead organisms would just accumulate on the earth and would never disappear. If you have any questions, ask me in the Zoom session. Thank you.